Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and Oceans.
Hello, hello, folks. Glad to be back.
And I don't know that there's any news that I've seen anyway.
Uh, well, there's a few that I'm aware of. The funniest one being that the first volume of Chainsaw Man's anime adaptation, the first Blu-ray volume, sold a staggering 1,700 copies in its
Oh
first
yeah,
week.
it did terrible. I saw that.
Yeah, but I saw that, and it's funny. But anyone taking that as like an indication of the industry is stuck in like 2007, because Blu-ray numbers haven't mattered for a while now. In the age of streaming and the age where in Japan housing has become so expensive that most people physically don't have the space for Blu-rays.
hmm
Uh, you know, it's mostly a fun little haha low number kind of thing. But I don't because I saw some people that were very worried about, oh, is it not going to get a season two or whatever? And it's like, no, no. Like Chainsaw Man did fine, I'm sure, in terms of streaming and actual viewership numbers. Um, Chainsaw Man is not going to get a second season because Mappa is probably going to collapse before then, but that's a separate issue. God, I,
It's
it's
just
looking
gonna be like crayon scribblings that barely move.
It's looking scary for Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, man. They are very much overworking themselves, and I do not like it. No, sir. But it
It's funny how
is what
like
it is.
transparently they're overworking themselves too, and everyone seems to point it out, and then they're just like, all right, it's whatever.
Yeah, they're just sort of yes. We're very proud of our uh work ethic, and that work ethic is just modern slavery.
Everyone's like, hey, you're doing too much, and they're like, yes, correct.
Like slay and yes. uh, yeah, no. Mappa's been a little on my mind because I started watching the Chainsaw Man anime this weekend finally. Um, and damn, does it look good? I guess I just wish it wasn't produced by Mappa.
Yeah, it's Mappa is like, oh, this is probably gonna be pretty good, but also like danger zone. Warning.
I think what bothers me the most with them is the fact that they are just the perfect studio to appeal to sort of an average viewer who doesn't know what happens behind the scenes, because they have like these big money flexes, right? They get Shingo Yamashita to do all their openings. They get 12 ending songs for Chainsaw Man, and so as an average viewer, you would just look at them and be like, oh shit, they have a bunch of budget and they're a great studio, and it's like, yeah, I see why you'd believe that, but no, absolutely not.
I can see why they've convinced you of that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of map, another funny news is that we're getting Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3. And then part 3 is gonna get cut down into part 1 and 2 as well. Have you
So
heard
are
about
they?
that?
I have not. I mean, I knew they were taking on Attack on Titan's final bits.
Hmm.
I don't know why you would need to break it down that much. There wasn't. Was there that much to the Attack on Titan ending that everybody hated? I don't understand.
Uh, well, you know that they took on the final season. They said they were gonna call it the final season.
hmm
Then they made 16 episodes, I believe, and they were nowhere near the ending. And then they renamed it to Final Season Part 1. Then they released Final Season Part 2, which also didn't finish the story, and now the story is left with 9 chapters to adapt. And they were like, "Oh yes, we're gonna do that in the Final Season Part 3." But now it has come out that Final Season Part 3 is gonna come out in 2 course, in 2 parts as well. And it's like, what? For 9 chapters? Why did you subdivide it even more? Like, what is happening behind the scenes? And the
I
answer
almost
is, of
wonder if
course,
that's just like breaking it up as much as possible to get as much out. I don't know. I don't know what business. I don't know. There must be something businessy about it, and that's why they're doing it. But I don't know enough about it. So.
I don't know. With Attack on Titan specifically, I'm fully ready to believe that everything's just falling apart and they're trying to do as much as they can. Because also the story of how Mappa acquired Attack on Titan is wild. That basically after Wit didn't want to do it anymore, it was put up to auction basically for what studio wanted to do it, and no one wanted it because everyone was aware of how
How much
difficult it
the?
would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, of how difficult it would be to do the final arc. And also, generally creatives don't like working on adaptations. That's sort of just a constant. Um, and Mappa bought it without really having a plan. And so it's been visible in the adaptation. I know you haven't watched it, but the final season has looked pretty rough overall. Um, so that's the Mappa shit. The Mappa seal of quality. 50-50 if you're gonna get Jujutsu Kaisen or Attack on Titan season 4.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Um, Besides that, I think sort of another piece of news is that we're getting the first AI generated anime.
Oh God.
Um, well, the it's even dumber than it sounds. So it's the background art and some of the character art is drawn by an AI, but because the AI is so bad, it is also then redrawn by humans. The only difference is that they don't credit the humans, they credit the AI and just say human enhanced.
That's the
So it's just
dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
yeah, it's more work for everyone involved just so they don't have to credit the actual artist. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely incredible. And of course, the story of the anime, coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, is about learning to empathize with a robot AI dog. Uh,
Mm,
yeah.
mm. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing weird about that.
No, no. So yeah, the world's looking great.
Yeah. God.
Um, I'm sorry. I wish I could bring like happier news, but I don't think I have anything else. I don't know that I have like I don't know if there was anything else that I heard about. Um, I have one more piece of news, but that's also depressing, which is My Hero not being in this magazine.
Well, yeah, for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, an unannounced 2-week break, basically.
I mean, it's no
Uh,
secret that that man is hurting. He's
yes,
he's
but
struggling.
yeah, but 2 weeks unannounced break, that's pretty serious. And also, I have never seen other mangaka talk about the health of other mangaka generally because they're very private people. But this comes out and Yusuke Murata is out there tweeting like, "Horikoshi, please take a break." And it's like, okay, I mean, if even his colleagues are telling him, then this must be pretty serious. Um, so yeah, this is really unfortunate. I really hope they just give him that like long-term hiatus. Honestly,
I
like
mean,
just give
just
him
do
like
what like Gege did and take a month.
yeah, a
Just
month
just
or
take a
two.
month and just don't do anything for a while and just fucking recover. And then you
Yeah,
can get back to speed running the end of My Hero. It's fine.
yeah. I mean, it worked for Gege
Yeah, it
ever since he
did.
took that
It's
hiatus.
been great ever since he took that little break.
Hmm. But yeah, that I think that concludes my round of depressing news.
So I found some sales figures the other day because I know we've been talking about them.
Oh.
Blue Box, Sakamoto, and Mashle were all top 10 for the
Hmm.
last weekly ranking. Undead Unluck is all the way down at 44th, which was surprising.
Okay.
Um, and then we have Tokyo Demon Bride Story, which was in the top 200, which is also surprising to me.
Uh-huh.
Ginka and Luna at 238.
Hmm.
So, don't know. Like, I wish I had gotten some earlier figures to compare to for something like Candy Flurry to see where that was. And then
Hmm.
both Aliens area volumes did not rank. Neither one.
That
Uh,
makes sense.
it sure does. But ouch. But yeah, to see Blue Box actually ranked second. It was only behind My Hero.
Oh, nice. Good
Hmm
for it.
Sakamoto third, Mashle seventh, all in the top 10.
Nice.
So pretty neat, pretty
Uh,
neat.
yeah, I mean, it's a shame about Aliens area because those volume covers look sick.
They are really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns
Like,
out that's where he spent all his time was pre-planning the volume covers.
I guess, yeah, because they were really nice. Well, c'est la vie, I guess.
It is what
Um,
it is. That's why you don't write a manga where one chapter is about giving someone a parking ticket.
yeah. Uh, yeah.
It's an entire chapter on a parking ticket.
God, yeah. I'm so glad we don't read mid on this show anymore.
Right? Yeah, we've made just the collective decision to just stop. Hey,
Yeah.
this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, we're not gonna do that anymore.
Every Sunday, I open the app and I only read good to decent things. It's wonderful. No more opening the app, seeing Shugomaru and just sighing.
I wonder if 240. I mean, I guess technically 240 is still ranked. I don't know if that's good enough for Ginka and Luna to keep going or not, but it's at chapter 20 and still going. So
Yeah, I mean, good. I mean, more power to it. Chapter 20 is definitely getting closer to safe territory. Um, if anything, I'm surprised Tokyo Demon Bride story is at chapter 21 because people always say, "Oh, I don't see anyone talking about this manga." I genuinely have never seen anyone talk about this.
neither have
Like,
I, but it outperformed Ginka and Luna by quite a bit. So
yeah, so I guess
I
it's
don't know.
popular. I mean, good for it.
Top 200 is something at least for a series that I expected to have 7 readers total. So
Yeah. Cypher Academy is also still going on, but I guess they don't have a volume out yet.
I guess not 10 chapters. It's probably in the process of coming out. Like they just revealed the cover image for the Ichinose Volume 1.
Right, I did see
Uh,
that. Yes.
yeah, and that's got one more chapter than Cypher. So Cypher Academy is probably getting its first volume pretty soon.
hmm Okay, but yeah, in that case, interesting crop of Jump series.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who has to go next time they want to introduce newcomers.
Ichigoki.
Oh wait, is that still running?
It is, yeah.
Oh shit, it is. Oh, yeah, I guess that would be a candidate. I mean, as I said, I have no clue how it's doing. I forgot it was here, but hey, if anyone's enjoying it, let us know in the comments. You rare creature.
It's gonna be that one person that's like, oh, it's actually amazing in the goddamn comments. And then now every week until this shit gets canceled, I'm gonna have to read the comment that says this Ichigoki's Under Control chapter was excellent.
It's just like, guys, you should really pick up this manga. We did, and we didn't like it, if I remember correctly.
We made it 2 chapters. And on the second chapter, we were like, that's enough.
Yeah, sounds like us.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
The old
hit me with your
college
top
tribe.
three.
All right, so my top 3 for this week. My number 3 is Mashle. My number 2 is Undead Unluck. My number 1 is Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay. My number 3 is Undead Unluck. My number 2 is Jujutsu Kaisen. And my number 1 is Chainsaw Man.
Oh, I forgot we were doing Chainsaw Man because it was off center. Man. You know what? I'm gonna stick with it. It definitely would have been in the top 3. I completely forgot we were ranking it because it's not in the
Mm-hmm.
normal one. Mashle purely ranked because of the panel where he calls that guy cringe.
Yeah, I figured. That is a very good sequence.
All right. So then first up we have the Steam Ninja Scrolls.
Which I read for once, and boy, I sure read it.
Yeah, it's like, man, thank God for the Naruto coat of paint on this because it would be fucking miserable otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very much a nothing chapter, in my opinion.
It's always nothing chapters. They don't do anything in this.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not even like fun just hang out because I wouldn't mind hanging out with like Guy and Kakashi a little, but it always centers on the wrong parts of it. It always centers on like, oh, here's these other characters, hallmarks of popularity, Ten, um, doing like weird prank shit, and it's like, no, I want to see more Kakashi and Guy. I want to
And
see
then
them
I
hang
like
out.
how we missed the entire ping pong game so that we can have another flashback about how she's sad that her dad is dead. Like we haven't had 12 of those already.
Yeah,
I get it. I know she's sad her dad is dead. I understand.
yeah, because also it's like, and this is not really this manga's fault. It's just sort of a thing. Asuma died for me like 12 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't know when, but it's been a hot minute. I really am not moved by his absence in the story anymore. I, to be honest, I barely was at the time.
Yeah, Asuma dying for me back when I was going through Naruto was just kind of a Shikamaru thing. Like,
Yeah.
he died so that Shikamaru could have a character moment. It's not like, is it really so moving that we need to have a whole manga about his daughter and her coping with his death and shit? Like,
Yeah, like I think you can do something interesting there, but this kind of just feels like pointing at the fact that he's gone and be like, "Oh, aren't you sad that she's sad?" And it's like, "No,
yeah, I'm really
I'm
not at all.
not.
I don't empathize with her.
I do not empathize with this lady. I'm sorry." Um, and again, I think it hurts also that it's coming out at the same time as the Sasuke manga because the Sasuke manga is just so above and beyond superior.
Yeah, the Sasuke one is a lot better. This one also, like, what was the point? Like, they did this stupid prank with Tenten or whatever, and then they were like, oh, but there was a real ghost, and you removed the tags and everything. And I was like, oh, are they gonna have like a ghost hunt chapter? And then they were like, okay, we're leaving. It's like, wait, what? Why did you waste all those pages on the real ghosts and the tags that you took
Mhm.
off?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was just meant to be a one-off joke, and it's like, hey, you really are not interesting enough of a story of a series to be making jokes like this, to be honest.
Jokes like this that take up 2 pages.
Yeah.
Although I do like Guy running on his hands.
Yes.
That
I
was
mean,
that was pretty good.
any guy in Kakashi content here was pretty good. I'm always up for that. Um, I guess my problem is why is Mirai in this? Why is this
Yeah,
a Mirai
because you're
story?
to your point earlier, it's kind of like we're seeing what could be really interesting, which would be a Kakashi and Guy like bro out road trip series, and instead
Hmm.
it's focused entirely around this girl that we don't know, who's having the same sad flashback every 3 chapters.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would much rather have it to be being, yeah, as you said, like a road trip with the guys. And you could do interesting stuff with it. You could sort of deal with the fact that Guy can't move anymore the way he could, and Kakashi's retired and how they feel about it, and you could make like a fun little arc about it. But we're constantly stuck with the bodyguard. Like we're stuck with the character that if this was an actual Naruto arc would die 2 minutes into it.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just an odd choice of perspective that's banking on us really liking Asuma, 12 years, 10 years after he's gone. Um, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Asuma was not that popular to begin with.
Yeah,
I think many,
I don't know of anyone who is like upset by the death of Asuma not on Shikamaru's behalf. Like
yeah, exactly.
no one's phoning it in for Asuma.
Yeah, I mean, hell, just replace Mirai with Shikamaru. Immediately the story would get better.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't know. Like, I almost feel like this series wanted to be like, oh, remember Asuma's daughter? That character that they mentioned the one time that
hmm
Kurai's pregnant? Here you
hmm
go. And like it wanted it to be this big thing that everyone was waiting for. No one was waiting for Asuma's daughter to be a
yeah.
ninja.
Well, it's also weird that they chose this light novel to adapt because, you know, this Mirai story has not just existed in light novel form for a while, it's also been adapted in the Boruto manga, as I've been told. In the
Or the
Boruto
Boruto
anime, I
anime, I
mean.
think, yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, did
So
we
what's
need
even the
this
benefit
much?
of doing this? Yeah.
Yeah, did we need this much Mirai content? Because the dinosaur Sasuke story wasn't animated, was only in the light novel. So doing a manga on it and then animating it does make kind of sense. But this, like, I don't need to wait 2 weeks at a time to read the story of Mirai pranking Guy in the hot tub. Like, I can just watch it in the anime. Well, I could, but I won't because
I
that would
won't,
require me to
yeah,
watch
but it's
Boruto.
there.
Yeah. So yeah, I struggle to see the point of this. Um, besides just spending more time with Kakashi and Guy through the wrong perspective, I guess. So yeah, definitely no dinosaurs in this one out of 10.
Unfortunate, unfortunate. But yeah. All right, so next up is Fabricant 100.
It was okay.
It was fine. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. The setting is cool, and I like them needing to figure out like how to stop the song without hurting anyone else. I feel like they're trying to sell us on the fact that number 100 is like, uh-oh, not that reliable because all she cares about is the kid, but it's not really working.
Hmm.
I don't know. They're not doing a very good job of that. If that's what they're going for, I might be pasting that intention over top of it, but
Well, I think it's pretty clear that it's trying to make you suspicious of her. Um, and we do get a glimpse of that, but I mean, in the end, she still ends up helping overall. Um, so I don't. I think it would be interesting if she ends up being more of a wild card, and it could be that this is where this is also going because in the last double spread in the final panel, someone says, "Oh, I've lost my hearing." So I do wonder if this is going to be sort of one of those things where she didn't like kill anyone, but she caused like pretty serious harm to a lot of people to win the fight, and that's what makes her sort of unreliable and makes her a bit of a wild card. Um, but I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. The panel of the kid grinning kind of makes me feel like they're saying that as like, aha, now the song won't
yeah,
work anymore. Like it's a heroic moment.
that's also true. Yeah. Um,
Although I do like any panel of her where she has the creepy monster face, like she does on 17.
yes. I think I definitely prefer her when she's being creepy than when we're just being given like huge shots of her cleavage.
Yes. Well, that one's both, but
Yeah, but I feel like there it kind of works.
yeah, it's fine.
I also like sort of the hair tendrils behind her.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
very
out in like
fluid.
a creepy floating hair looking thing.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean overall, I think the set piece here is really cool. A stage performance and a fight where you just can't you have to try not to disturb one or the other.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, as an idea, it's pretty neat. I felt some of the art was a little cramped. At times.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um, yeah. So it's sort of like I feel like the manga needs to learn how to make its art breathe a little more. Um, but overall, it's pretty good. Like I really like the page 10, where you just have the two fights happening basically simultaneously.
Yeah, I really like the the shadow on the wall and everything too. Looks good.
Hmm. Yeah. Aside from that, not a whole lot to say yet. I feel like the conclusion of this fight is also going to give us a better indication, sort of what the tone of this series is going to be overall going forward. Um, because yeah, I wonder if they're gonna sort of make it a thing that number 100 she really helped, but she also was very careless and callous in her final attack, and what does that mean? Or if we're just gonna really just be straight up heroic with the conclusion. So yeah, I guess it remains to be seen. But
Yeah,
so far,
remains to be seen out of 10. That's
yeah, fine out of 10.
yeah.
Okay out of 10.
All right. Next up is Blue Box.
Are you ready for them to start fighting? Ready for them to start throwing hands?
Start throwing down. I like how when she hits him, he says, "Not even Shinatsu has ever hit me." Like that's a thing. But like
Hmm.
you should expect her to do. Why would she ever hit him?
Yeah, that is a weird choice of words, isn't it?
Yeah, like he
Um.
says that like either she has like hitting privilege, like but he says it like it's expected that she would have hit him by now.
Hmm. I mean, hey, maybe he does expect it.
Maybe he's just into that.
Hmm. Ugh. I
Maybe
mean,
he's not taken aback. Maybe he's like, "Oh my God, my first hit."
more important than the first kiss, huh?
Depends on your point of view, I guess.
Yeah. Um. This was an interesting little discussion they had, because you know, she slaps him, and that's bad of her. But I also do think that I kind of get her in the moment, because this is this random dude who you've met like twice before, and he's giving you a lecture on like your life, and it's sort of like, hey, you might have a point, but this is kind of not your place to tell me that. Like,
Yeah,
what do
this
you
this
care?
felt like a very anime speech, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of glad they brought it back to like you're just like a fucking guy. Can you shut the fuck up for a minute?
Yeah. Because, but that's the thing. Because it's such an anime ass speech. I did end up like really rooting for Taiki as well. I was like, yeah, I mean, he's making a lot of very good points. He really sort of gets to the root of the issue that ultimately it's not like anything's wrong with the world or with other people having better talent than you. It's just sort of a matter of attitude and perspective. But then, she slaps him. I'm like, yeah, actually, hold on. Sure, he's right, but why would he tell her that? Like, why would a random guy? Why should a random guy get to basically hold you accountable for something fairly unassuming, quitting a hobby, right? Like it's not life or death. Um, like imagine you quit a hobby and some dude you've met twice gives you like a huge pep talk where he like calls you out for lying to yourself.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
even like a pep talk. It comes off, to, at least to me, pretty judgmental too, with like the
yeah,
way he's phrasing it is
hmm
like super belittling to try to. I don't know if that's intentional to like try to say, oh, you're worrying too much about a little thing and you should get out there, but I don't know. It definitely comes off to me like he's speaking from some level of like a high horse to her right now.
yeah. And I also think it's interesting because I think both of their perspectives have some value to them because and this is sort of a personal thing, I guess. I hate the attitude that some people have where it's like, oh, if you can't be the best at it, why bother doing? Because there are a lot of people who feel that way about basically any hobby. And so when Taiki sort of goes off on her, I was like, yes, I totally empathize with this. Fuck that attitude. But at the same time, Yumika's point of view also makes sense because, yeah, you put all this effort into sports specifically, something that takes a lot out of you, that takes a lot of sacrifices, and ultimately, it's not something that you can turn into a lifestyle. It's not something you can turn into your professional career. And so maybe it is better to just move on and do different things and enjoy life a different way. Because I guess what makes this interesting is that Taiki seems to take it really personally that she stopped with basketball. But like, aside from being rude, Yumeka kind of just has a normal life. She's just kind of a
Yeah, she's
person.
just kind of got a bit of an attitude.
Yeah. Because also when she's like playing with the kid, he's like, "Oh, you're too good to be playing for fun." Like, hey, maybe that's just what she wants to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to is like, he gives the whole speech about like, weren't you playing because it was fun? But like, if losing makes it that unfun for her, it's kind of a mature stance to be like, I need to step back from this. I'm too invested in this
hmm
thing that I can't, I'm not gonna be a pro. I'm not gonna make a life out of this, and all it's doing is pissing me off. So maybe I should stop doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's also interesting that you called it an anime speech before because now, yeah, it really does come across as like the big protagonist speech, where he talk no jutsu's an antagonist, quote unquote, into seeing their point of view, and it's immediately juxtaposed by the reality of A, it's not that serious, and B, who are you to tell her that? Who are you to question someone's life choices about something as mundane as their hobbies?
Hmm.
Um, he gave like now that I'm rereading it, it's giving me massive it's giving me massive like reply guys vibes, like on Twitter or Instagram, where it's like you make a random benign decision about your life and someone has an essay ready about why you suck.
It's Taiki, the YouTube commenter.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, so I don't think I like Mayo that much. You fucking degenerate. Fucking
Do
ingrate.
you know that you're destroying the mayo industry?
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, I really don't like. I don't think I'm gonna eat chicken for a while. I don't like the taste. Oh, so you're fucking racist now, are you?
Just come out and say you hate farmers then.
Let's unpack this, sweetie. God, don't you love it that the internet can turn literally anything into discourse?
Yeah, it's certainly something. I'll say
Yeah.
that. Just every now and again when you're scrolling Twitter and you find just like a massive thread on the dumbest shit you've ever seen.
Hmm. I mean, you know that I know it's a meme image, which what is it, Tom Hardy, and he's like, not everything needs a reaction. Learn to just observe. And I know it's like a Sigma male meme, but honestly, yeah, preach, word. Sometimes you really need to just observe the world and go, wow, that sucks, and move on. And I feel like this is what Taiki should have done here to bring it back to the actual manga we're discussing.
Yeah, I definitely think that that Taiki overstepped a bit here, and I'm kind of glad. I mean, you shouldn't hit people who overstep, obviously, but
Hmm.
I'm kind of glad that that again we talk about this a lot with Blue Box that it went very tropey real quick with Taiki giving like the I'm the anime protagonist and I'm gonna fix this side character's life, and then I mean, he probably is going to. The reality is she's probably gonna end up listening and becoming more involved. But I do still like her like kind of telling him off a bit. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think also, I don't think if she then goes and sort of listens to him a little bit, I don't think that sort of undoes this, because the same way someone can overstep their boundaries and be, uh, you know, basically give you unasked for advice or unasked for opinions on your life, doesn't mean that you cannot listen to them if you find meaning in their words. I think both reactions are valid, right? Like you can be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up. What do you know about my life?" But then also sort of later be like, "Huh, I guess some of these things are not necessarily complete nonsense."
right,
Um and yeah, like as you said, I think this is something that Blue Box does really well. Just this balancing of being a tropey rom-com but also sort of having, I don't know, like a real connection to reality, like to how people would act and how people should act, I guess. So yeah, very good out of 10 in my opinion.
all right. So the next we are gonna have looks like Akane-Banashi.
I love this series so much.
Yeah,
So
it's really good.
good.
I love the her reasoning is like actually really good too. Like,
Yeah.
I do kind of think we could have done it without so many flashbacks of like, why is she doing that? I feel like there's been 3 or 4 straight chapters of them just being like, but why? It's not like the Masters at all. And then we have to get a flashback of them talking to her, and she's like, no, I trust her. And I get it. You're overplaying that a little bit. But the
Hmm.
reasoning that she has is really good, and it makes sense. The like, I can't sell it the way that she can, but by acting it out that way, I can still get people to be suspicious of her in a different way. That like,
Hmm.
when she reveals that it's a ruse, everyone's like, oh, well, of course, because the way she was acting all funky. And
Yeah.
then, I like her kind of speech about it later too is that like, as I get older, my life experiences are going to change. I'm going to have different things that I can pull from, and the way that I perform will evolve with me as I get older. It was good too.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a really sweet way of sort of, again, showing us what makes Akane so good at what she does. Just this ability to adapt and learn constantly, and even in ways that are like completely unorthodox, right? Because basically, the lesson she learned by having a really bad date,
Yep.
by absolutely sucking at flirting with
I really
guys.
like the face that she makes when she says that the flirting did not work.
I mean, that entire panel where they're also like, I'm not surprised.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, I like the whole like vibe this chapter had. Also, like with, oh, the art you make, it's kind of like a friend. It's something that you grow with. It's not just a one and done cold skill that you have. It's intrinsically tied to who you are and like your position in the world and in your life. And again, I think it's just such a wonderful way to portray something like this. Um, but yeah, I do agree that it is getting a little old. Everyone just being like, "Oh, so this is what she's doing," and then we see like her explanation of it. I feel like the manga might need to figure out a few new ways of depicting something like that going forward.
Yeah, and like I don't even necessarily mind it when, she's doing something new. Because there's only so many ways I suppose you can depict someone being irregular at a performance art in a manga. But
Hmm.
especially with this fetching tea story, it feels like they've done it every chapter.
Yeah. I mean, we've already had what 2 or 3 chapters with this story, and we're gonna have one more at least. Um, so yeah, I guess I hope they switch up the style a little with like how information is revealed. But I'd assume so, right? Because I mean, now we're getting to the conclusion. Now we're getting to sort of the second half of the story.
Yeah, I feel like with the second half of the story, you pretty much can't do the flashback anymore because all the flashbacks were like, oh, why did you have faith in this person? And now that we've had the this is why moment, I feel like at this point you've got to just let her cook, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, very very fun chapter.
I also really like the spread of her being drawn in the Rakugo like artistic backdrop where she's like interlaid in the same pose as the Oiran.
Yeah, yeah, that's the final spread. That one's
Hmm.
really nice. Yeah, in general, I mean, we don't talk about it as much as we did at the beginning, but I really do like the way they portray the Rakugo, like with these thick inky lines. It's a very cool stylistic choice that at this point feels so natural and like seamless. It's really good. I'm
Yeah, I
really
mean, I remember both back at the beginning, both of us were kind of like, I don't know, I don't know if you
hmm
can do this. But now it like once you get used to it, it's great. And I actually love that little bit of like differentiation because then you can have panels that are purely depicted to the Rakugo performance, and you know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the panels on 16, where it's literally just a panel of like someone sticking their finger into the tea to do the thing where she's making it look like she's crying by dripping the tea down her face.
hmm
Um, you can immediately tell if that's something that's happening or if that's in the performance. It's great. I love it.
hmm Yes, absolutely. It's a very good sort of stylistic distinction. So yeah, very cool.
All
Out of
right,
10.
we got Sakamoto Days.
I mean, it was okay.
I thought it was
It
cute.
didn't.
I,
Yeah, I
I
mean, it was
like
all
them
right.
going back to the store, and I like their immediate assumption being that Lou has ruined everything and that the store's destroyed now, and it's actually
hmm
going better than ever. I like the Uber Eats parody with the sniper guy. I don't understand how it works because I don't know
I
why
mean,
he needs to shoot his gun um, to
yeah,
make it
but
work, but it's
I
great.
think
I
he has
like
to.
it.
I think he has to shoot down the parachutes in time, right? Is that?
Maybe is the bird? What's the bird doing? Is he dropping the
I think it's.
parachutes?
I think it's pinpointing where the parachutes need to fall, and then it's collecting the money from the person who wanted the Uber Eats.
Uh,
But yeah, no, it was a cute chapter. I liked with Amane, I think it is, where he's like, "Oh, this vending machine is broken. I keep shooting it and nothing comes out."
yeah, it's not working right.
I got straight A's in regular society class.
And then he immediately hops the ticket booth. Yeah,
hmm
and I kind of hope he sticks around.
Yeah, he's fun.
And I
New
feel like
addition to
that's
the
the plan
family.
because what didn't they tell him that he needs to learn how to work the cash register? And he's like, I don't know what you're
hmm
talking about. Um, See, I kind of hope he ends up sticking around. I like him. He's funny.
hmm Yeah, I like the family sort of developing. Um, and yeah, Akira has just straight up gone full Sasuke.
She's a complete Sasuke mode.
hmm Which is interesting because I think we talked about it when it happened, but I didn't really expect this.
Yeah, me either. It definitely felt like it came out of left field when she just all of a
hmm
sudden showed up and was like, I am going Sasuke.
Yeah.
Um, and this is sort of like the same because doesn't this happen with Sasuke and Naruto as well, where he's like, I'm on the bad guy's side, but I won't kill people needlessly at first, and then he starts killing people, and then you're like, oh, now he's really evil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's not like a Sasuke thing. It's just like that's a pretty common trope, but still, it has
Yeah.
vibes. It very much has vibes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a Sasuke thing. He didn't invent it, but he sure is a very, very famous example of this.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it felt like a sort of in between chapter, I guess. But I'm glad we got something like this again.
Yeah.
Because they say it at the start, like, oh, so much has happened. I'm like, yeah, we haven't
Yeah, it
been here
sure
in a hot
has.
minute. Um, so yeah, glad to be back at the store, ready for some chill action for a while before we head into like the big boy stuff again.
I also like the I'm trying to find it. The panel where Sakamoto and Shin are like, are we useless here? Why is it working better without us here?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I think it also is funny that the thing that made it boom is that they're serving booze and snacks and hot stew. It's
Well,
just
well,
like,
that
okay,
also makes me think it's like Sakamoto's store is like a convenience store, right?
yeah,
Why did it not have snacks before?
I guess it didn't.
What were they selling before if they didn't have snacks at a convenience store?
Toilet paper.
Apparently.
Um, I don't know what convenience stores in Japan are like, so.
Also, I like that it's named Peeber Eats. Yeah,
Bieber eats.
that's what the name because it's the bird is pea,
Oh,
so it's Peeber Eats.
so stupid. Piska, yeah. Um, but yeah, fun chapter. Fun little sweet chapter.
Yeah, not the Sakamoto rawness that you usually expect, but it was cute and it was fun and I liked it.
Yeah, it was a good sort of break from the non-stop action we've been getting for
Hmm.
the last year, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. All right. Well, the next up is the Ichinose family's deadly sins.
Oh boy, the vibometer is off the charts.
Yeah. Oh my God. We always say the series has bad vibes, but this was really bad.
Dude, when he's at the school and it's all like, "Oh, don't you remember us? Yeah, we're your friends, haha." And it's just that panel, that page of them walking past his friend, like the one we got to know.
Hmm.
Like, what is happening there?
I have no idea. And I looked too because I almost thought maybe it would have like the fake dad like giving him a creepy look, like
Hmm.
a vague warning-ish look, but it's not. He's not. He's
Yeah,
looking straight down the hall. He's not doing anything.
yeah. What is he? Is he eating? Is that no? That's shoes. He's looking at shoes, and there's a hand in the. What does that mean?
Well, that's like all of his stuff that has all the bullying writing on it that uh, Tsubasa used to have. You know how
Yeah,
Tsubasa's stuff is all covered in shitty writing, and now his is.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, whose hand is that?
yeah. So I guess the school has to be in on it, right?
Well, we already knew they were getting like bullied together after
Hmm.
Tsubasa stood up to him. So I don't
Yeah.
know if this is supposed to be like, oh, Tsubasa's leaving him behind because he forgot that he's not that he was being bullied too or something. But I don't know. I don't know. But the
Well,
school would
because
have to be on it because they know that's not his dad.
yeah, and they also, they would be suspicious if he has amnesia every week.
Yeah, he once again got into an accident and had amnesia. And
Yeah.
even the
Well,
kids are like in on it.
well, actually, you get to see his friend kid sort of look shocked. What is it on page 7 when they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if you know this, but Tsubasa was being bullied," and you get sort of a little panel of the other kid sort of looking shocked and like in disbelief. Um, so maybe he isn't in on it, or for him, like I don't know, the brainwashing broke or whatever it is. Um, but yeah, also the scene where he like his memories return of his other dad. God, Anxiety Town.
Yes. And then, the dad's working at McDonald's or whatever at the end. Um, well, why does only he remember?
Yeah, that's another question. Like, why
Because like
does why
Shiori's
does
calling him like crazy, basically.
hmm
But it's also weird how quick they are to dismiss him remembering stuff because wouldn't you think someone with amnesia remembering something would be kind of important?
Oh, that's actually a very good point.
They're all like, because he brings up like something weird is happening. I remember stuff from before that's not like this, and everyone's like, "You're being crazy. You're still talking about that crazy stuff. Come on."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Also,
it's
this didn't bother me until this chapter, but why is he the only one that still wears bandages?
does he? Oh, you mean on his head?
Yeah,
Well, I think that's just his character design.
is it? He just wears a gauze wrapped around his head?
I think so. I mean, it's what he looks like in all the promotional art, so I assume that's just, his character design. It's like Naruto's goggles. Why did the man have goggles?
Yeah, but why would you make gauze part of his character design when his entire character story is being in the hospital all the time?
Hey, maybe that's a hint at the fact that he basically spends all of his time either in the hospital or realizing that he's stuck in a time loop or whatever. Also, apparently, this author's previous work was sort of about time travel, so that's something to keep in mind. I feel like I will have to read that other one, Takopi's Original Sin, at some point because apparently it's really good.
Okay. I've never heard of it until just now. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'll have to look into it.
well, they do advertise Ichinose family as the latest from the creator of Takopi's Original Sin, so I'm guessing it was at least somewhat successful and popular. Um, so yeah, no, very interested to see where this goes. The vibes are absolutely horrible,
Horrendous.
horrendous,
Horrendous.
horrendous vibes out of 10.
All right. So the next we've got Spy Family.
Speaking of bad vibes,
Yes, holy shit. What was that ending?
yeah, what's up with that mom?
I
Uh,
mean, I we knew that her and the dad weren't like on good terms.
yeah,
But why does that extend to is this like I could leave him if I didn't have this little boy? Because his older brother is like out of the house, right?
yeah, I think so.
Well, also, but she looks too young to have a kid that's like 20. She looks like
I
yours
mean,
age.
yeah, but it's anime.
I
Visual
guess. Yeah,
age
I
is a
guess she could
difficult
look
thing.
anywhere from she could be anywhere from 25 to 60 and
Yeah,
it would be believable, I guess.
yeah. Um, no, but it's just it's really unsettling too because it's sort of like she has all these very sweet thoughts, and in between them they're just like these like well, really horrible thoughts about him.
And you
My
know, it only
cursed.
happens once he mentions the dad.
Yeah. So maybe it's sort of a thing where she does love him, but he's a living reminder of the man she once was with or that she once loved
Or yeah, or
and
that
now
she's
doesn't.
stuck with and can't get away from. I don't know. One of the whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
that's definitely going to be.
that was a hell of a cliffhanger, especially for
Yeah,
Spy Family.
that's going to be interesting for Anya to experience as well because she really only has experience with Yor as a mom, sort
hmm
of, which is obviously very different from this.
And also, this is yours friend, and she can't tell anyone why
Hmm.
she's gonna be uncomfortable around this person now.
Hmm. Um. Also, I like the little talk that Anya had with Damien, like the little friendship moment that they shared.
Yeah, where she's praising him and he's getting all happy about it.
Hmm. And she blows it by
Yeah,
making him think.
immediately blows it.
Hmm.
I also like when she finally breaks down and cries because she has to be a little kid for, or she gets to be a little kid for a moment once yours there. And
Hmm.
the teacher's like, ah, finally an age-appropriate response out of her to this situation.
Yeah, what
Uh,
a relief.
hmm
Yeah, no. I feel like it was kind of a sort of fluffy chapter, really until the cliffhanger. Because it
Yeah,
was
I
very much
liked
sort
the
of just a
reveal too
resolution
that
thing.
Lloyd was there and that he rushed back to help. I thought that was cute.
Hmm.
Um, and it's nice too because like, you know, he thinks that he can't show that he cares about her, but she can read his mind, so she knows. So it was like, oh, that's cute.
Hmm.
And then yeah, and then it completely flips on its head with the cliffhanger.
Also, yeah, Anya has a Stella Star now.
Second one.
Yeah, second one. And my
I
man
also
Bill
like how they
Watkins
gave one to the
also.
giant child.
Yeah, I was about to say like my man, my
Bill
humongous
Watkins.
child, the Giga Chad of children.
But
When
yeah, Anya's got 2 stars now out of what is it? 7?
I think so, I would have guessed 7 because that's the magic number, but I
That's
don't
the anime
remember.
number. Yeah.
Well, it's the magic number in anything. It's either the rule of 3 or the rule of 7 in almost every series where you have to deal with like numbered progression or
Well, it
numbered
sure as shit
goals.
ain't 3. So
Well, no, definitely isn't 3. So it's probably 7. But yeah, no. Good chapter.
yeah, it was cool.
Absolutely terrified of what's coming next.
Yes, the cliffhanger was. Speaking of Ichinose vibes, like we said,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
also terrible.
Horrendous vibes out of 10, part 2.
Next up is Jiangshi X.
That was pretty good.
It's fine. I mean, we're still in the early. It's weird because on one hand, I want to be like, this is chapter 3. Of course, it's just going to be fighting. But also, I feel like the page count for this thing has been like 15 chapters worth of material by now.
Yeah, that's also true.
Um,
But I
but yeah,
can't
it's
say I
still
mind
so
too
early.
much.
There's not. I wonder why it's getting so many big like even this is a 30-page chapter. Um,
As I think I said it before the show started, I'm pretty sure this is just coincidentally releasing together with the magazine, but it's actually a Jump Plus series.
yeah, but I
Um,
mean, is that normal for Jump Plus series to just get random page counts?
I cannot speak to that because I don't know. But I'd assume, at the very least, what I do know is that Jump Plus is way more flexible and allows for stuff like that. Um, and in fact, I think we can even see that it's Jump Plus on the title page because you have a black and white title with a colored title font, which they don't tend to do with the magazine titles. They only do that with Jump Plus series, like also the Sasuke and the Hot Spring manga. You look there; it also has a the
Hmm.
colored Naruto logo on it. So yeah, I think this is just genuinely a web series that happens to be releasing at around the same time, and I guess sort of uh, masquerading as a magazine series.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's definitely a Jump Plus series, so I guess they just are like, hey, turn in whatever you've got.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, Chainsaw Man averages anywhere between like usually 15 to 19 pages.
Mm-hmm.
It even had one recently that was as short as 10 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it just seems weird to me. The pilot I can kind of forgive being long, even though 100 pages for a pilot is still pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
And then chapter 2 was what, like 50 something?
Yeah,
45? Yeah, and then this one's
something in that
30.
ballpark.
They're just very long. They're not
Yeah,
bad, but
I
they're very
mean,
long.
it's. I think that is one of the benefits, though, of releasing on Jump Plus that you have so many fewer restrictions overall. You don't have to worry about the print, and you don't have to worry about the page count. You can just sort of do whatever. Um, so far with Jiangxi, I'm okay with it. I feel like it gives the story enough room to breathe without being too overbearing. Like I haven't really felt like overwhelmed so far, which for a manga that I've already read 150 pages of, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean we are kind of at the equivalent of chapter 10, I guess. So chapter 10, chapter 9, something
yeah,
like that.
10-ish, that
Yeah.
general area. Um,
But yeah, it's
so I
cool.
kind of hope we start getting more like, and this might be where they do it, where they like, uh-oh, whoever opened this up is gonna, start being a
A
problem
problem.
that we have to deal with, because it is getting a little like, oh, they're gonna fight another monster that looks exactly like all the other monsters they've been fighting so far.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that this Jiangxi didn't really look like anything
Yeah,
special.
there was
Like,
nothing
is
unique looking about it. It's just another
doesn't he look pretty
vampire.
much exactly like the one we just got the other chapter?
Hmm.
Yeah, he looks basically the exact same. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of would have hoped for some more unique monster designs, but I guess if that's what they look like, then I guess that's what they look like. Because they are like a mythology thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're supposed to be like humans. They're like vampires, basically. But
Yeah.
boy, do they all look identical. Like even humans
Yeah,
look
kind of.
different, right? Like boy, your monsters look exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Um, but I thought, the little exposition we got was pretty interesting, and I liked sort of them deciding to take matters into their own hands, which is, very typical, like, no, don't do that, don't be stupid, dumb shonen fuckery. But also it gives us a chance to sort of see them in action.
Yeah.
Um, art with 25 is really nice, where like dashes past them.
Oh yeah, like all the movement speed and stuff looks good.
Like actual good use of speed lines.
Yeah, speed lines that don't feel out of place and stupid.
hmm Um, so yeah, no, I'm digging this so far. But yeah, I do hope we get something a little more substantial going forward. We had the little sort of introduction mission last time, and now this seems to be sort of the transition mission into the main plot, and I would very much like it to be.
Yeah,
Um,
if it is, I'm 100% on board. If it's not, I'm starting to get kind of tired of random missions to go fight the same monster over and over again.
yeah, like if anything, I would really like for the series to go a little more crazy on the monster designs, because yeah, of course, I mean they're just vampires, but yeah, as you said, people look different. You can give them cool designs. Um, So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with the series. It's interesting. It's fine out of 10.
Yeah, it's fine out of 10 is about where I'd put it as well.
hmm
All right, so next up we are in top territory. So the first one is going to be uh, Mashle.
Mashle. Let me find it real quick. Yes. Fun.
Very
Very
fun
fun.
chapter. I like pretty much the whole sequence is maybe the funniest one that this series has done, where he pops up on like the TV screen and he's like,
hmm
or whatever that is, and then Mashle's just there.
I also really like, oh, it seems you intend to interfere up until the very end. It's like, no, not really. If you just chill at home and be cool, I'd be okay with leaving you alone.
Yeah, if you just stop.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, of course, where he calls him cringe.
He tells him to get a job.
Yes. Has there ever been another shonen protagonist who's just told the main villain, "Dude, just get a real job
Yeah, I
already"?
need you to go get a real job.
um, and I also like the way that he gets that one punch in. That was actually really cool.
Yeah, that he uses
With the
the
sword.
metal that won't age.
hmm
Don't know that that's true about iron, but
I mean, I guess it won't age by itself. You need to like expose it to wind and weather.
that's true. Yeah, you need
So if
to like
this,
add a corrosive agent.
yeah, so if this like time warp field ages you sort of in isolation, then I guess that's okay, right?
I also
Um,
like that he throws the sword underground like a boomerang. And for a minute, like, do boomerang physics work underground? I don't even care. Like, they
mhm.
just don't question it anymore.
Yeah, and in general, just fun little back and forth. I also liked at the beginning when they're like celebrating their victory and they're just like victory dance.
Yeah, he's just dancing. I also don't know why I never put it together that the guy's line markings on his face are clock hands. I don't know why I never noticed that until right now.
Oh yeah. Oops.
Yep,
Wait, what
whatever.
time are they indicating?
What time is that? Well, they're both the same length, so no time.
No, actually, isn't the one further to the outer side of his face
Oh, it is
slightly
longer in
longer?
some of them. It's longer in a
Yeah,
couple of them. So that would be,
like 20 past 7.
yeah, like 25 after 7 or something like that.
What happens at 25 after 7?
Nothing that I know of. Yeah, that's got it, or maybe 8. It could be like approaching 8:30-ish.
Again, what's at 8:30?
I don't know. Is there some significance to 7 or 8:30?
No, I mean not that I know of. 8:30 is when we start watching Doctor Who usually at night. Well, not anymore. No, we're at the most recent seasons, and we've been taking it real slow. We've been we've been procrastinating by watching Chainsaw Man.
I
But
this is too like out there. This is definitely not what it is. Um,
what?
but I googled the significance of 725, and the very first thing that came up was a Bible passage that talks about false prophets. There's no way it's that.
No, absolutely not.
Not a fucking chance.
But can you imagine though?
If Mashle actually was that in depth about it.
That would be so fucking stupid. Um, actually, I'm sure there's like a super obvious meaning to it that we're just missing, and someone's gonna tell it to us in the comments. And if you do, if you are gonna be that person, please start and end your comment with "you Muppets," so we know it's you. But yeah, fun chapter. I'm glad
It's
we're done with the
probably
Doom
some
fight.
shit like that's around when it becomes dusk in the summer.
I guess, yeah. It's the time when when solar eclipses are the most common, or whatever.
But yeah, it was cute. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Maybe just
and
in terms of raw, like laughing at something. That's probably the
hmm
funniest chapter we've had in a while. At
yeah,
anything, not just in Mashal.
hmm
All right, next up we have Chainsaw Man.
I love my cringe fail couple. I love them so much.
They're so
They're
bad at
awful.
everything.
They're terrible at. They're just bad at everything. Um, First of all, I just love how Denji's trying to be all tough with like the rules of the household, and to everyone she's like, "Why would I do that? That's dumb." It's like, "Oh, don't open the fridge." It's like, why would I want to do that? Um, and I also like how much his confidence shatters once she tells him that she doesn't like him.
Yeah, he
Because
gets all down.
yeah, because so far it's been sort of on the on the assumption that she likes him, that the first date went well. Um, so after that, he's just so like up in his head. It's really endearing. Um, Also, God, he must be getting very mixed signals from his perspective now.
Yes. Do you think he can see the scars and the eyes?
I don't know because he didn't react to them when she tried to make a spinal cord sword out of him,
That's true.
and she had those then. So yeah, I get either he can't see him, or what's also possible is that he can, but he just genuinely doesn't.
Just an
He
idiot.
doesn't notice. Yeah, he's just a dumbass. He just thinks, oh well, I guess girls' faces do that sometimes. Um, and then of course, I like that when she kisses him, it almost looks like he instinctively closes his mouth.
Yeah, so he
Out of,
doesn't get puked in.
yeah, that Himeno PTSD. Um, and of course we have Naoyuta come in, and boy, am I interested to know what this is all about.
Yes, the full on like what is the chain through the head? What's going on?
Well, I'm assuming it's not going to do anything to Asa because I mean, if Denji's immune to the War Devil's ability because he's a devil, then I'm assuming the War Devil is also immune to whatever Naoyuta is throwing out. Um, but I'm also wondering what's up with Naruto. Why is she like possessive of Denji?
I don't know. But also, I mean, I'm not so sure it worked. Like that's why Denji's immune because it's not like any of the other devils from before were immune to Makima's ability.
I guess that
It
is
all
true.
worked. They worked on all of them.
I guess that is true. But then what would be the reason that the spinal cord sword didn't work on him?
I mean, isn't the rule like he has to really like her? Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's Denji. He kind of would like anything that is nice to him and has boobs.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe because of the weird vagueness of like how the power works, it has to be like genuine or something. He can't just be like,
Oh,
"Oh, she's cute" or whatever. I
you
don't know.
telling me the big crux to this is gonna be a true love's kiss?
Hey, it is Fujimoto. It could be anything.
I mean, yes, it is Fujimoto. It could genuinely just be. It could be like McDonald's stamps for all we know. Oh my god, I'm so ready for like part two to also have a Burger King arc.
Also, I like how the look on his face when she gets mad in the last panel isn't even like surprise. He just almost looks annoyed.
Yeah, he's like, ugh. Well, at the very least, I hope that means that it's not anything too damaging to Asa. Um. Also, wow, Nayuta takes after Makima quite a lot.
Yeah, I really like the Makima imagery with the dog leashes when she first appears.
Well, yeah, because also she has the chains come out of the exact spot where Makima's control chains come out of when she controls other devils.
Yeah, well, she's got the leashes, you mean, where she's got them hooked to her belt?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's very deliberately reminiscent of
hmm
yeah,
They don't even show her with the dark hair at first either. They leave her hair bright in the silhouetted like light of the door.
yeah. But yeah, so what's her deal? Is she like has she like decided that Denji is her property?
Possible. I mean, she's the control devil. It's kind of her whole thing, right? And that
Yeah,
was
but it's
Makima's
like,
thing, basically.
good lord, is Denji ever gonna have a break?
No, not a chance.
I saw someone because I tweeted about this chapter, and someone replied to me saying the ultimate conclusion of Chainsaw Man is going to be a wholesome story of Denji realizing that he just doesn't like women. And someone then replied to it, and that's where Yoshida comes in.
That's why he's back.
Yeah, that's his job. He's the dormant homosexuality agent. But because I mean, on a serious note, at this point, if I were him, I'd consider it.
Yeah, he has not had a good run of it with any woman ever.
I don't think he has had a single non-traumatic experience with women so far, which makes the whole thing about Fujimoto constantly talking about, oh, I was always surrounded by very strong women who were mean to me, makes that whole thing also kind of odd to think
Yeah,
about, doesn't it?
just a little.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, very fun chapter. I like that Denji and Naruto have a fart counter.
Yeah, up on the wall. And then Naita apparently sucks at raising plants 'cause her plants all shitty and dead.
Well, here's the thing. I saw someone pointed out those are succulents. So the way you make a succulent thrive is to give it just the bare minimum and kind of leave it by itself. Whereas if you're too overbearing and like constantly water it and constantly try to like control it, basically, it generally dies. So I
Oh,
guess the
that's
joke
funny.
is that yeah, that Denji doesn't give a shit about his succulent, so it thrives. Whereas Naruto is just micromanaging the shit out of it.
That's funny.
Well,
I also like that
that's
Denji
a
thought
random little
being
line.
told he smelled like wet dog was a compliment. He genuinely was like, "All right."
Yeah, I love dogs. Um, but yeah, wow, these guys have not managed a single normal conversation so far as well.
No.
Like, it is really funny him realizing that she doesn't like him, and he's like, "Oh, no matter what, you have to control yourself. You cannot make out with me." She's like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, one thing can lead to another. I'm just saying, babe." It's like, what are you talking about?
Well, the thing is, I think she does like him. That's the problem.
Well,
That's why she's
yeah,
so mad about it.
but it is kind of interesting that Denji's way of dealing with affection is basically to just be extremely open about it. Just be like, "Oh yeah, I like you, make out with me." Whereas her way of doing it is to basically just be rude and mean.
She's got the old like bully or crush mentality.
Yeah, but it's not even quite bully or crush because I think she's too much of a failure to bully anyone. She's kind of just rude.
Yeah, it's just mean.
Yeah, like she's not confident enough to be, you know, I guess like a tsundere type thing. Where she's like, "Oh, you idiot! Pff, I don't like you." It's more sort of like, "But no, dumbass, leave me alone. You smell."
Well, that's probably where it comes from, is that she's not confident enough to admit that she likes anyone because her assumption is probably that they don't like her back.
Yeah. Well, with her, she also has like the reason to believe that he doesn't like her back, right? Because the whole
The
sword thing
sword
didn't
thing doesn't
work.
work, yeah.
hmm Also, the sequence where his inner monologue is like, um, "Did I do something wrong? Was it that feeding her starfish thing?" God, Fujimoto.
And then I like how he asks her if dogs stink or not.
And then she kisses him. So
Yeah, and
it's
well then you War kisses him.
yeah. So that's the question, right? Like, what did Yoru? What is Yoru trying to achieve here?
I assume she's trying to force him to like her so she can get her sword.
Yeah, I guess. But also, Yoru herself seemed kind of fascinated by Denji in the last chapter.
That's true, yeah, because she had the whole thing where she was like, I wouldn't like this guy, so it must be your feelings for him that I'm feeling in your body. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's the other way around.
hmm
Maybe she
Yeah.
actually doesn't like him, and War is the one that does.
hmm That would be fucking ridiculous. Someone's question: how is a fake Chainsaw Man gonna factor into this? The guy with the prosthetic,
I don't
because
know,
he's
because
following them.
I wonder, like, did he follow them? Because he didn't show up in this chapter at all. So is he like
Yeah.
waiting outside or something, or I don't know.
hmm Yeah.
Also, why is there a fake Chainsaw Man when there's also a singular fake Chainsaw Man?
Yeah,
Do we
that's the other
think it's that
question.
guy, or are we still like, is there another fake Chainsaw Man out there and he was the red herring for it until he revealed that it doesn't work?
I'm pretty sure this guy was the red herring, and I am really on board with the theory that some people have suggested that the other Chainsaw Man we're seeing is the Chainsaw Man devil.
The A devil created from people being afraid of him?
Yes,
Yeah, I could see it.
because I mean, part two kind of distinctly decides to make that to make the statement that people are not entirely positive on Chainsaw Man, that he's kind of a bit of an urban legend that some people are afraid of, that some people think eats people. So it makes sense that it could give birth to another devil. Um, so yeah, I wonder if that's going to be the devil derived from the fear of Chainsaw Man. Because also, I mean, you know, all devils fear Chainsaw Man. So who's to say that there wouldn't be a devil formed out of the fear of other devils? You know?
It's possible. Because didn't they say
Yeah.
that's why he's still kind of strong, even though people generally like him now? Is that
Mm-hmm.
the fear that he would need is devils are afraid of him instead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, very interesting. I can't believe I'm both very excited about the metaphysical nature of devilhood and whether or not this guy is gonna get to bone or not.
Important, important dichotomy in your series.
Yeah, Fujimoto really has it down.
All
Um,
right, so then it looks like next we have Undead Unluck.
which was really cool. I mean, another sort of setup chapter, but I am all in for this.
Yeah, I really like the plan of like it's gonna suck also when you get your memories back because you're gonna remember how shitty everything was
hmm
before, and that's gonna really suck. Um, and I kind of like everyone sort of being on board with it. I like this crew. The whole crew is good. Everyone's good.
Yes. I feel like this crew is doing a better job right now at sort of making me care about the group than it did in the original loop.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, which it's an interesting thing to do. I think that that's such a cool like a cool progression for the series, I guess. Um, and I also like that we had the boxing movie or the boxing manga, and now we're gonna go into like a Rambo-esque war story.
Yeah, the Stallone
Yeah,
series.
like we're just going through like movie genres
Hmm.
basically.
Also, I like
Um,
how in the image of them where they're all like, we're gonna be, we're soldiers. Void has a giant gun arm.
oh yeah, he has the Barrett thing going
Yeah,
on.
he's got the giant Barrett arm,
Hmm.
and
But I
Gina
don't
for
know.
some reason has a huge hat.
Well, doesn't she have a huge hat sort of in her original incarnation as well?
Yeah, I think her weird like Russian clothes or wherever she's from, she has a giant hat.
Hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I also really like sort of the general structure that we're getting here. That, oh yeah, we could just get Remember now, but I don't want to do that without the permission of everyone. So let's just get everyone right now. It's
Hmm.
like, okay,
I wonder who the
interesting.
two people she's talking about are before they go to get Billy.
Yeah, the silhouettes aren't exactly telling, are they?
No, they're not very descriptive. I mean, they're definitely designed that way on purpose,
Yes.
but I couldn't tell you who they are looking at that silhouette.
I
I mean, the
mean, could
top
they
one
be
kind of looks like Rip's hair, maybe?
yeah, I was about to say, could it be Rip and his lady friend?
Maybe? I mean, they're old, right? They're on the older side,
I think so.
but I genuinely don't know.
Get damn, we should have paid attention in like the early 60-ish chapter range.
Yeah,
We'd be
if only we
unstoppable
had
right
paid
now.
enough attention to recognize that bowl cut.
Yeah. If only we wouldn't forget about the entire series like every time we stop looking at it.
I know. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, like whenever I'm reading on it Unlock, whenever I'm on the show, I'm like, oh yeah, this stuff is so good. I like this and this character, this and this plot point. If you catch me like I don't know on a Tuesday afternoon, you find me in the Migros parking lot, and you ask me, hey Dennis, what do you think of Undead Unluck? I don't fucking know. I don't know that series.
Well, no, the thing is, I totally do only for the second half. If you ask
Yeah.
me about the post Fuko loop, I'm like, oh yeah, this that. If you ask me anything prior to like the fight with Sun, I'm like, what the fuck are you saying to me right now?
Yeah, like what do you mean? What do you mean there was stuff before like chapter 50?
For
You
me,
mean the
it's like, what
non
do you mean there was stuff before chapter 100?
Yeah. You mean the non-canon prologue?
The comedic prequel.
Yeah. What's an Andy?
Oh, you mean that mysterious character they keep talking about? I hope we get to meet him at some point.
That has the same vibes as like, that screenshot of adult Naruto eating ramen with Boruto and seeing kid Naruto next to him with the caption, "Wow, did Naruto have another kid that died? I hope we get a prequel on him." um, but yeah, no, super cool with Undead Unluck. And in a way, I kind of enjoy it for like this. I like that it's not something that's constantly on my mind, taking up my brain space, and just something that I plug into it and I go, oh wow, Fuko's so cool, and then I sort of forget about it for another week, and then the next chapter comes out and it's, oh wow, Fuko's so cool, and then I go about my day again. It's nice to have series like that as well. I feel like it's cool to not have a series that makes you obsess over it, I
Yeah.
guess. Um,
So basically, what you're
especially-
saying is, if nobody got you, you know Fuko's got you.
yeah, if nobody got me, Fuko Izumo's got me. Absolutely. Um, but yeah, I don't have anything else to say on this chapter. Very good, as is usual for Undead Unluck these
As is
days.
tradition for Undead Unluck. Yep.
Hmm.
All right. Well, then that brings us into the finale, which is Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah.
Okay.
What the fuck, man?
I did not see any of this shit coming. I mean, we
No.
we did predict the thing with Tsumiki actually last week. We did predict that you know that she was an incarnated sorcerer that was just pretending.
Hmm.
Um, God, the panel where she also reveals it is fucking horrifying with the massive like grin.
Yeah, the really like stretched out mouth.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But from the moment Sukuna says in chain, everything onwards is just, what the fuck is he cooking?
Uh-huh.
Like what is Sukuna's plan here? Is it to summon like something really powerful and then defeat it as Megumi so that he then has it as a summon?
So there's I assume gotta be there's a few options, right? So one, he has Megami as his host now, and that's just
Hmm.
the thing that he does. And there's a decent amount of like support for not support, but like there's that image that Akutami drew a long time ago that was Kenjaku versus Yuta, um, Sukuna versus Yuji, and then Megami versus Gojo, and everyone's like, "That's weird. Why is Megami on that side of the picture?" Um,
Hmm.
so that could be something that maybe he just Megami fucks off and he is in control of Megami now, because I
Hmm.
assume that Yuji being able to put him away had something to do with the fact that he was specifically built to be a vessel. I doubt it's something that anyone can just do.
Yeah.
Um, so I assume that he would be in control of Megami now. Option two,
Yeah.
we have been talking about it for a while about like, oh, why does he want Megami? And I think it was you that said something about Ten Shadows is going to let him recover like his original body and form.
Yeah.
Um, so that's an option where he's gonna use Megami's ability and then leave him afterward.
Hmm.
Um, and then option three is, I guess it kind of ties into option one, but he summons Mahoraga again as Megami and then kills it because he knows that he can.
Hmm.
And then that would give him the ability to use it, which would mean that we then have Sukuna and also Mahoraga on the bad team,
Yeah.
which,
Um,
holy shit.
but also on the other end of the spectrum, what the fuck is Yuji supposed to do now? Like there goes
Yes.
his entire like fighting style.
Yeah, so like the removal of Sukuna should remove all the cursed energy as well, because that's what he was using the whole time, right? Was just
Yeah.
so options there as well. Like one, is whatever made him like a vessel for Sukuna the reason why he's all superhuman? Like, is it some kind of fake um, restriction? Because remember,
Hmm.
Yuji back even before he got Sukuna,
Sukuna.
Megami said that if he were to fight Maki, the old Maki, one on one, he would have won.
Hmm. Right.
So, he's clearly like in that territory of like a restricted sorcerer. Um, is there a way to get rid of that? If it was, fundamentally like input into him by Kenjaku, can it be taken out? And if that's the case, would he have inherited his mother's ability? I don't know.
Hmm.
Two, I guess they could just say, oh, you had Sukuna in you for so long that you just have residual cursed energy now. That could just be
Yeah.
their excuse.
Yeah,
Um,
that I guess that could be it, but I'm just wondering, like, what's the series going to look like from here on out? Because I'm assuming Sukuna is just out. Like, I don't think he's
I
gonna
don't
get
think
back
he's
into
going back
Yuji.
in. Yeah, he's not going
Yeah.
back into Yuji, I don't think. But
So
Sukuna wasn't like in on Kenjaku's plan as far as I'm aware.
yeah,
Like
exactly. Like
Kenjaku's kind
he
of doing
has
his
his
own
own thing.
thing. So it's not like they're gonna team up. So is
Although
Sukuna just gonna
Kenjaku,
kind of be a wild card?
although Kenjaku is working with Uraume, who is in cahoots with Sukuna.
Yes. But I don't know that Kenjaku is aware of that, or if he is, he
Yeah.
might he kind of strikes me as the kind of guy who would be aware of it and be like, "Oh, but I'll be fine because I'm amazing and awesome."
Yeah, so is Sukuna going to like usurp Kenjaku? Is this what we're heading
I
towards?
could see that happening. I could see them fighting. I could see. I even saw someone ask if Sukuna would keep the promise that he made all the way back in the beginning to make Gojo the first one that he killed, so he wouldn't kill
Hmm.
anyone, but he would actually intentionally unseal Gojo, or let them do it before he like makes himself more of an antagonist.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because also, if he keeps Megami as his host, that also kind of calls back to before when Gojo was talking about, oh, our clans hate each other because a long time ago, someone like me and someone like you fought and they killed each other.
Hmm.
Um, Fuck, man.
Yeah.
There's so many avenues this could go down.
I'm
Uh,
just really interested to see how how Yuji's presence in the story will look like now, like as a fighter. Because I saw someone say, "Oh boy, Yuji's not going to be able to backflip, critical hit, punch his way out of this one."
which is true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've even seen some people say, what if Yuji dies right here? I don't think that's going to happen. Um,
That would be ridiculous, but it's
yeah,
like, what would it be? It'd be like the third time he died.
yeah, but I mean, what they're saying, like, what if he actually dies right here, and the rest of the story is from like Yuta's perspective? I don't see that happening. I don't think that's going to
Mhm.
happen at all. I think Yuji's going to live. I assume he's going to live because nothing about, I assume at least, the binding vow between Sukuna and Yuji is still valid.
Active.
Yeah, so he's not allowed to hurt anyone for a certain longer amount of time. I don't remember how much time they said.
Well,
Um,
so as long as Enchain is active, which was supposed to be a minute.
right, so like that
Last,
may give Yuji enough time to just get away. He's not going to fight. Um,
yeah.
I
No
assume he's
way.
going to grab the girl and run.
Yeah, I mean, I think what might happen is that Yuji's gonna run and will have to regroup and essentially have to relearn how to fight. Now in his new situation. Because I wonder how. Because here's my main question basically: is he going to actually get a proper curse technique or not? Like, is he going to unlock his mother's anti-gravity technique? Does he have something else? Did he, as you said, absorb something through Sukuna's residuals?
Yeah, well,
Who
because I mean, a
knows?
long time ago as well, we had Gojo saying eventually, from having Sukuna in your body for so long, you'll get his ability,
Yeah, and
which
that has
never
so far
happened.
not. Yeah,
Um,
so
so
maybe
I
this
don't
is
know.
the
We've
trigger
had two
pull.
different kind of hints that Yuji's going to get something. Gojo saying it'll be Sukuna's, and then now the reveal of Kenjaku having his mother's technique, and we know techniques are hereditary,
Hmm.
um, that he could have that as well. Or he could
Hmm.
end up with nothing, and he could just fucking suck. I don't know.
Yeah. Um. Also, wow, I sure love that. Gege, what was it like last week or 2 weeks ago? He says in the author comment, like, "Yeah, I want to end Jujutsu Kaisen like within the next year," and everyone calls him out on his bullshit, and then he drops a chapter like this, where it's like, "Oh, well, I mean, this is definitely
Yeah,
speeding things along a little,
yeah, it sure is. It
but in a
also
cool
creates a
way."
problem too because now you're going to have Hana and Angel in conflict with one another.
Uh, why?
Because
Because
Angel wants to kill Sukuna and Hana
in
is in love with
Hana,
Megami.
right? Yes.
So Hana's not going
Also,
to let Angel kill Megami.
yeah. Also, man, pour one out for Yuji. Like just last chapter, it was like, oh, I can't trust Angel because I feel like trusting her supplants Nobara in my heart, and the only person I truly trust is you, Fushiguro. And now this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I think we might be in for like a similar period like we had in Shibuya, where just every week, every Sunday, we get together here and we just talk about how much Yuji is suffering.
How much Yuji's life fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And
Because
here's
also like,
another thing too. The sorcerer in Megami's sister wants to fight Sukuna. Are we gonna have Sukuna in Megami's body fighting and potentially killing another sorcerer in his sister's body?
hmm
And how does Megami recover from that if even though it's not him, if he ends up being the one that kills his own sister that he's been trying to save this whole time?
yeah. Also, um, another thing, is this going to affect or sort of include a Kashimo in the equation? Because he also wants to fight Sukuna.
Everyone kind of does from the incarnated era, it seems like, yeah. Except for
Yeah.
Ryu. He's like, no, get away from that dude. That
Yeah.
dude's crazy.
But like with Kashimo, I think it's especially interesting because he said that he has a curse technique he can only use on Sukuna and only once.
Hmm.
So I wonder if this is how we're gonna find that out, basically.
I don't know, man. This opens up like way too much shit all at one time.
Hmm. But yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, yes, it definitely accelerates the story, but I'm absolutely in for it. I am. If this is sort of gonna put us on track towards like the series' final third, I'm fine with that. I don't mind
Mm-hmm.
that.
And you know,
I think,
because you kind of mentioned that Orome is in cahoots with Sukuna, I assume that she was aware that this was partially the plan.
yeah, I
Um,
think so.
so does she turn on Kenjaku to go be with Sukuna, or do they do like a little villain team up, and it's
Hmm.
Kenjaku and Sukuna on the same team? I don't know. Shit's fucked right now. Gojo, please get out of that fucking box.
Yeah.
I need
Also,
some hope.
out of all the things in this chapter, the most bizarre thing to me is the fact that Sukuna can just put himself into a new finger.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, I
just
guess it makes sense because that's how I assume would have made the fingers to begin with.
yeah.
Um,
So now, how many fingers did Yuji have? Did he have 15?
15.
Yeah, so now instead of there being 20 fingers in total, there's only 6. The 5 that were left over, and this one that Megumi now has.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Because it's
interesting.
15 combined into one.
Yeah. Um, that's wild. You see, this is the kind of shit I would absolutely not have expected.
No,
Uh,
this is like came out of fucking nowhere.
yeah, this is, but in a good way, in my opinion. This is
Yes.
fucking insane.
Also, what an asshole. He ripped off Yuji's finger before he left, so now Yuji's down a finger.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got only got 9 fingers left.
Is this just gonna be sort of a ongoing thing? Like you're just gonna get increasingly more battle scarred as the series goes on?
I mean, he's
'Cause
already pretty fucked up looking in the face, so I
yeah,
imagine.
exactly. Um, also, good God, his facial expression on the final page hurts me so much.
Yes. He looks
Oh,
devastated.
oof. Yeah, just awful, but in the best way. That's my verdict on this chapter.
Yeah,
Just
awful,
terribly
but I
wonderful.
love it. I love every
Yeah,
second of how awful it is.
yeah. Oof. Uh, actually, one last thing. Page 17. Megumi's face there is the funniest thing I've seen.
Oh yeah, him like exploding.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you eat something sour.
Yeah. When you eat a warhead. Um, when you check out when the next chapter's coming out and it's in 2 weeks instead of one. But yeah, excellent out of 10
Yes,
from me.
phenomenal out of 10.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. I'm so excited. I was worried there was going to be a break after a big chapter like this, but there is not.
No, there's not. No big extra
No
cliffhanger.
break.
Just a regular week to wait, which is gonna suck.
It's going to suck so bad, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right then.
All
I
right,
believe that is
yeah.
it.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Shonen and Chill, and we will see you in the next one.
Take care, folks. Bye bye.